the sun. To dream, believe in strength. Now I'm the only one, only one. I was an ordinary boy until I broke the rules. My life destroyed, a life destroyed. Until I walk awake, scream my mind, I shout, the ground shakes. How much can I take? My mind will break. Will it break? Can I take? Can I be your superhero? Fly away. It's the first time of today. Today. To dream, believe. You are the strength, you're all I need. Oh, gonna give it a shot. Only one of me to shield you all from the enemy. You're a superhero. You're a superhero. Can I be your superhero? Superhero. Superhero. Superhero, can I be your superhero?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Or should I say, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, and all other time zone denominations besides, because I have no idea what time it is when you're watching this. But either way, welcome. It's another Monday evening, and you know what that means. It's the end of Monday. But not only that, it's time for some Blackout Racing on F123. Welcome back once again to the Blackout Racing League, season number 2 on this game, season 14 in Blackout's overall history. Tonight, we head to Belgium and the Netherlands, where absolutely nothing went wrong last year, and so we can ignore that and instead look at the calendar, because indeed it is Belgium and the Netherlands. But after this, there's only 3 more weeks of Blackout Racing, but there could be something quite special on the way as well, so do stay tuned for that. After we head to Belgium and the Netherlands next week, we're at Monza and Singapore, where I think most of the drivers have PTSD, but we'll gloss over that. China and France is on December the 18th, which means I hope you've got some pliers, because your eyes will need gouging out. And then Portugal and Japan are the last 2 races of Blackout Season 2 on F123. And let's do something we haven't done in a very long time. Let's have a look at the wide. My God, that is the widest championship It's thick. It actually has a conscience. That is a prop. Anyway, look. Thanassi leads the championship. However, the gap is marginal. And in Blackout terms, it is marginal. 1 race win and Thanassi DNFing means Terziak will be joint on points. And if he gets fastest lap as well, which is worth 3 points in the Blackout Racing League, then there is all to play for first in the championship. Elsewhere, I mean, how many rounds have we got? We've got 8 rounds. So if Milo wins all of them, 8 times 30, do the maths, it's about 2 million points. Basically, he's got a decent chance of still being within the fight, but then Thanassi and Terziak would have to DNF at every single race, and that's not ideal. But in terms of third place, we've got quite a few drivers within a shout, by no stretch of the imagination, well, Milo down to Magico especially, even Magico probably has a chance, to be honest with you, considering the fact that everyone loves to have a smooch with Barry R. But one thing you need to know about Barry R is he is a fickle character. He doesn't take movements unto himself lying down. In fact, he's firmly stood up, ready to give a slap across the chops to any driver that tries to enter his ends. In the constructors, though, and things also get interesting. By the way, I'm not on the driver's standings. I'm very upset. Equally, I'm glad I'm not on the driver's standings, because my ego would be very damaged. Constructor standings then. AlphaTauri are monstering it completely. Alpine, though, up to P2, which is very nice indeed. The Papaya Pros, though, with some consistency, could be well back in the fight with 2 drivers both on their A game. Aston Martin a P4 with Mercedes in P5, Red Bull 6th, Williams in 7th with Ferrari, Haas and Alfa Romeo. All the Ferrari-powered cars, all of them, are in the bottom 3. And just to put it into perspective, you can see what kind of points the reserve drivers have scored this season. 155. They would be ahead of every single Ferrari-powered team. Just the reserve drivers. That is quite a remarkable effort, to be honest with you. And I am very impressed indeed. But, back to the standby screen we go. The time is 19:58. For those of you that for some reason don't have a watch or a clock on your person, I mean, what are you watching this on? Just look at the bottom of your screen. You idiot. But soon enough, Blackout Racing will get underway. And it will be the Belgian Grand Prix. A space in real life which is, well, privy to a lot of changeable conditions. Sometimes the most torrential kind. But who knows what could crop up. It's Blackout Racing after all. No one knows what's going to happen. The drivers don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen. Even the game doesn't know what's going to happen, and that's not really a surprise, considering the game is coded by fuck. Sorry, my microphone cut out there for a second. I wasn't expecting that. Regardless, though, we will all join together in solitude and fun, because this is a community league, to be quite clear. Community league. We're here to have fun. But most importantly, here to see drivers kick the snot out of each other. That's what we're here to see most. Sorry, we're here to have fun. My apologies. My apologies. We're here to have fun. But we're also here to see blood, gore, and gladiators' guile. That's what we're all here for. Anyway, soon enough, we'll be underway with our first race of the evening, the Belgian Grand Prix. Do join us in a few minutes, where we have quite the roster of drivers today in the lineup. Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines! Yes! Here we are, the Belgian Grand Prix. It is time to really grind into the meat of this horse, which is very appropriate if your middle name is Tesco. Short qualifying, and then a 15-lap, 35% race. I've forgotten to turn my sound on. I'm a huge knob. That's fixed, and now we're back to qualifying. Don't question my skill issues. Here's your lineup for today. 17 of the finest in the business. The crème de la crème. Sacré bleu. Plums. This is Le Mans. Is Nombre. Is Maximus. I'm going to stop that. I'm probably banned from several countries now. Maximus is in the Ferrari. We have Gamer Ritchie in the Williams, who we haven't seen before. So welcome along, Gamer Ritchie, to Blackout. Hopefully, there are no collisions. That's a lie. There's going to be a collision. But good luck to you, my friend. Pathyman. There he is. When he's not a pathogen, when he's not giving me diseases, which is where I'm going to put a fork in the road and say I have a little cold. So I apologise if I sound, one, like I've been on an Airbus for 18 hours. And secondly, if, well, my voice has a skill issue and I have to have a violent coughing fit for no reason. Well, there is a reason, actually, but in my mind, there's no reason. Anyway, we then have Giraffe in the Mercedes, Guardian in the Williams, Big Sam 229 in the Red Bull. Dirkleton isn't here, I've only just realised, and that's why he wasn't first out of the pit lane. In fact, I'm surprised Wilco isn't. Wilco's staying put in the pit lane for now. That's ruined my rhythm. I'm not happy about that. Anyway, again, we'll gloss over that. Buck 20 in the McLaren. Captain Wilco in the Aston Martin. There he is. Magico, my husband. Hello, darling. The Reader's Digest team man words is in the second Red Bull. Stark in the Aston Martin, just starting his outlap, along with Buck 57. And Milo is just at the end of the Kemmel Straight, heading towards Les Cons. Is that how it's pronounced? Les Cons? Les Coombs? I don't know. This just sounds, that doesn't sound appropriate. Les Cons. I'm calling it Les Cons before I get cancelled in 17 states. Then we have King Didi in the Haas, J-Lane in the Ferrari, Thanassi, the championship leader, and Terziak, the final two on the leaderboard, but are by no means the last two on the driver's standings. But we'll see what today brings them in terms of fortune. Because anything can happen in Blackout, and it usually does. It actually, honestly, usually does. The other day in the Brazilian Grand Prix, for those of you that were there, I had to correct what the driver's standings, well, the race results for that race were. That was a weird time. But anyway, enough chit-chat, enough jibber-jabber. Big Sam is on a slammer, down into La Source, misses the apex, goes wider than the River Thames, but luckily for him, he's planted the power down, and away he goes. Although on YouTube, I did call him Big Goat 229, so he has a lot to live up to. Up through Eau Rouge and Radion, ascends that roller coaster event of corners. I can't speak. You wouldn't think I was born in this country. Anyway, down the Kemmel Straight, foot planted firmly to the floor, and brake hard as you dare for Les Cons. You can use a little bit more of that left curve than Big Sam did. In fact, really cut over it. Same again for that right-hander. But of course, if you chop too much, you're met with a red track, and red is bad in the world of Formula 1 and track limits. Late apex into the corner with no name, into Sticky Ixie corner. I don't think that's what he would have wanted me to call it, but it's what I've called it now. Down towards Pouon. Does he do it flat? Absolutely not, but in fact, actually, had a little bit more downforce to spare there, so could have been flat out yet. Stay tuned. Into this chicane. I don't know the name of this one. Don't ask. I can't be bothered to look it up. In through the left-hander. Again, a little bit more time on the table to find. Brake when the curb starts in the right-hander, and away you go. The brief yellow flag in Sector 3. It is, in fact, Maximus. He's slowed down to a standstill almost, so he cools down the car for his flying lap. Through to Blanchimont then. The corner where Max Verstappen very famously went darting round the outside of, I believe it was Felipe Nasser, in a 2015 car. Balls made of pure tungsten. As into the bus stop chicane, and he has cut that corner more than I cut cheese. That phrase worked out better in my head. Anyway, there's a Mercedes behind. Giraffe across the line. A 1:44.0, our first benchmark time of the day. But what can Not Stark do? Captain Wilco just starting a flying lap. There he is. Actually, I have a Williams of... Well, Williams of Gamer Richie right there going towards the final sector. It's actually an Alpine that's on the move. Is that Pathiman or Terziak? The answer is it's Terziak actually getting out there nice and early. Remember, Spa track, insanely long. You don't want to be dawdling around. You want to have just enough time to make sure you get your bearings and all of your shiniz together. Because otherwise you get caught with your pants down, and that's not legal. Milo has set a time that has really ruffled the feathers of the Silver Arrows, but Buck 57 has absolutely swept a tsunami over Milo's trickling stream. 9/10 of a second. A 1:42.7. That right there is a benchmark. Let's see what J-Lane can do, though. Through the bus stop chicane. Over the line and into P2. Only 4/10 off and a purple sector 3 to boot. Now it's Slam who will go on the attack. Across the line, goes ahead of his teammate, but can't displace Milo in the McLaren. Here comes my husband, and he's given up already. That is terrible. Maximus has cut the track, and that is also terrible. It's red like his car, which in most circumstances would be appropriate. Unfortunately, it only spells trouble here in Spa-Francorchamps. Let's see what kind of wizardry Captain Wilco is concocting. Goes through that corner, rather unlike an Iveco lorry. And towards the bus stop chicane. Very used to this in real life. However, in the world of Formula 1, he's going to absolutely sledgehammer his way through that corner. Use as much of the curb as he dares across the line. And it is fastest for Captain Wilco. Very handy lap time indeed. A 1:42.727. Only 5 thousandths between the Aston Martin driver and the AlphaTauri driver. Terziak completing his lap. Stark's invalidated his. He won't finish it off. Terziak certainly will, though. Out of the bus stop chicane. What kind of lap time is it? The answer is, it's fastest. What did you expect? Terziak with a 1:42.650. Again, only 7 hundredths between himself and Captain Wilco, though. Hardly anything to separate the drivers, and it's going to get ever more tasty as we transgress through this qualifying session. As King Didi starts a lap behind him, it's a Williams car. As Gamer Richie goes into 7th place ahead of Giraffe into the 1:43s. A neat first lap time for the first timer in Blackout at Belgium. Very nicely done. And that is a tongue twister. Try saying that 5 times fast. Jamie Tarquin just starting an outlap. Meanwhile, the man of the moment, the championship leader, begins his charge at Spa-Francorchamps. Down the hill then towards Eau Rouge. See what Maximus can do in the meantime, though, as Thanassi will be tobogganing down the Kemmel Straight, for lack of a better term. Meanwhile, has Maximus been a missile or a meeping mouse? The answer is it's quite mousy, but he hasn't done a Big Sam and gone on a 3-minute 6.04. I didn't realise he had a pensioners clause in his contract. That's ridiculous. But of course he's on his flying lap now, so that will absolutely tumble down. Let's see then what Buck 20 can do. The answer is he's on an outlap, so he won't do anything. It's the other Alpine of Pathiman, though, again across the line, and he goes into 10th place, ahead of Big Sam by 1 minute and 21 seconds. My apologies. And that's quite the ferocious time. I respect that. Anyway, next across the line will be this man, King Didi in the Haas car. Haas in real life, of course, didn't have the rub of the green whatsoever. Which is convenient because there's none of it on their car. But even so, I mean, they only made a car that could qualify well. So in the race, it was about as useless as having a concave fork. Across the line, King Didi goes though, and into 10th place. Very nicely done there from King Didi. Onto the fringes of the top 10, but soon to cross the line will be this man. No, it won't, because he's invalidated his lap time. Oh, dear. Well, you've got to get the lap time together. Rule number 1 is in order to find the time, you've actually got to set the time in the first place. And with antics like that, it's becoming much less apparent. Terziak on pole for the time being, but Big Sam might have something to say about it. Across the line he goes. He doesn't have anything to say about it, but it is a fast time on the board, and that is the crucial thing here. Big Goat 229 with a stunner, as his teammate Magico now will go through the first corner. Thought there'd be a bit of Red Bull teamwork, you know, giving him a slipstream, but no, Big Sam gets dutifully out of the way. He goes further towards Denmark than the apex of turn 1, so kudos to him, where kudos is due. We're going to watch my husband go down the Kemmel Straight. Look at that beautiful man. I have never seen a specimen more sumptuous in my life. Look at that. That right there was the best Kemmel Straight I've ever seen. And some of you might be thinking, well, that's just like every other Kemmel Straight you've ever seen. But actually, I want you to shut up. As through into the right-hander goes Mr. Magico. Ahead of him, Stark is on the lap. In fact, ahead of him more so is Jamie Tarquin. And he's gone purple in Sector 2. So it begins to get spicy then, as I've been sent 4 dinosaurs. And unlike this qualifying session, apparently I'm fossilizing, but this qualifying session is just evolving. It's getting more spicy by the minute. Braking at the bus stop chicane, darting into the apex. It's no invalidations for the Alfa Romeo man this week. Planting on the power, across the line he goes, and it is only 10th place. Well then, I mean, he's got a full tanker battery, so that's probably why, but I mean, we saw how quick his pace was when he didn't use battery last time in the qualifying session, and now he's going to use the slipstream of Thanassi a tiny bit. Very cheeky indeed, or it was Buck 57. No, it wasn't, it was Thanassi, so tactics where tactics are due there. Stark soon will be next across the line. In fact, it'll be Magico, will it? Yeah, it will. It'll be Magico. My apologies. Across the line. 6th place for Magico. Okay, then. Turn up the wick, my dear. That is absolutely wonderful. His name is really rather appropriate because he has conjured something of a miracle there. Stark also has done a brilliant job within a 10th of his teammate and right in the hunt for pole position here at the Belgian Grand Prix. A 1 minute 42.795. 4th place for the time being, and balls made of steel. The times will continue to tumble though. Let's see what the McLaren does of Milo. The answer is a 1 minute 42.9. That's much more like it from the McLaren driver, but not enough to break past the Aston Martins, Buck 57 or Terziak. So still work to do, although his teammate, Buck 20, here he is. Is he on mediums? He is on mediums. That's bold. Hopefully it'll pay off. There's been a rule introduced to Blackout recently, where, very recently, today in fact, where you can't set a hot lap on a tyre that's inappropriate for the conditions. And by inappropriate, I mean if you're on inters in the dry conditions, firstly, why? And secondly, you're just going to spin. And thirdly, it kind of, well, when you're on a hot lap, if someone is behind you and they lasso you in, then you're goosed. And that's not ideal for the drivers behind you, who will then argue you impeded, when actually you were actually on a hot lap, but your tyres were goosed. But let's see what everyone else can do then. Who is actually on a lap? The answer is this man! Okay then, 2 tenths on the head tops of the rest of the grid. Captain Wilco, 1 minute 42.4. And now we wait and see what Terziak and co can do. This is going to get very spicy. The track evolving all the time. The grip ramping up. The confidence boosting all the time. So long as they don't exceed track limits and cut corners. Through the final corner goes Terziak, a bit squirrely out of the bus stop though, across the line, and doesn't go fastest. Okay then, it is an improvement, almost 2 tenths, but it is not enough to topple this wonderful man. The captain has steered his ship and commanded an absolutely wonderful cruise into pole position provisionally, although there are many, many takers who will try and prize that away from him. One of which is this man, but he's about a second down, so I doubt he's going to carry on with the rest of this lap. I would assume he'd come in and pit on for a new set of boots. Thanassi, though, did start a lap and now is extremely wide into Puon. What on earth has gone on there? Really has shut the cat on that one. But anyway, let's see what everyone else is doing. Mr. Gamer Richie is on the move and 6 tenths up on his current time. There you go then. Just an ounce of confidence gains you a second, so they tell me. They didn't tell me that at all, but I just made it up because it sounded nice. Across the line, Gamer Richie goes, and he goes into P7. Very nicely done there from the first-time Blackout racer. The Williams driver making a name for himself in Spa-Francorchamps. Others who are on lap times then, Mr. Pathogen Man was on the lap time, but he's unfortunately invalidated, so it will not count. J-Lane and Maximus both on outlaps, and both about, well, one of them's about to cross the line, I don't know who. As a spot of WRC rallying, Pathoman goes for. It's a solid 6 out of 10 from the judges. Slam is on a lap though. Sorry, so is Giraffe, but Giraffe is further on in, but he's invalidated his lap, so he will go again for one last hurrah in this qualifying session, as Wilco has been disqualified for parking in a dangerous location. And by dangerous, it was off the track and nowhere near civilization. So how's that happened? Okay, so once Codemasters renew their guide dogs, which unfortunately won't be very soon, it doesn't really matter. Wilco's out of qualifying, but oh, well, he doesn't get to keep pole position then. Right. Well, that's quite sad. Wilco, who was on provisional pole, now doesn't have it because Codemasters can't code. How about that? How about that? Terziak then inherits pole position for the time being, but we saw what someone can do with a little bit of track evolution, and I have no doubt whatsoever that those times will continue to tumble. You'd better be ready. The final laps of qualifying coming up very soon indeed. Slam, by the way, came back into the pits. He didn't finish his lap time. Giraffe on another lap, though, and a 10th up on what he had before. Through into the right-hander. Who else is on lap times? King Didi is not. Loads of people on outlaps. I'm just trying to keep tabs of everything. Giraffe with a purple sector 2, though. A bit of zest added to the dish. A little bit of heat, a little bit of spice, which is very nice. Giraffe, for lack of a better term, wringing the neck out of the black Mercedes car as into the bus stop chicane he goes. One apex hit, two on a later apex's hit, out of the final corner, clean as you like, across the line, and he goes 9th fastest. Neat stuff from Giraffe there, but we'll see what other people have to say about that, because Jamie Tarquin is 1.2 seconds up on his lap time currently. Through the bus stop he goes, and that was a lovely first apex. Missed it a little bit on the second one, but he squares the car off beautifully on the exit, and it's pole for Jamie Tarquin provisionally. Oh yes! Look at that, lovely lap time. 74 thousandths of a second is in it, but you have to be in it to win it, crucially. The Alfa Romeo driver currently has the world at his feet, but they will do everything they can to try and sweep the rug from under his ground. I don't know what I was going for there, but you get what I mean, basically. It's going to get very tasty indeed. Guardian going through Eau Rouge. Stark just about to go through Eau Rouge. Still loads of people on outlaps here. Unbelievable. We're going to have loads of times coming through us. Oh, no! Slam retires from the session. What on earth happened there? Made contact with the inside wall, surely. Although it looks like he's still going. Is that just Giraffe? That's Giraffe. Well, Slam's retired in the pit lane then, clearly deciding that's the end of his session. But regardless, we're going to find out exactly what cookie is crumbling here. Is it the crumbliest, flakiest chocolate? Or is it a little bit stale and sad? Well, we're going to find out. Guardian will be first across the line out of all of our running order that's left. Captain Wilco will feel a little hard done by, actually. He'll be in provisionally P2 for the time being. But Codemasters just has skill issues. So there's that. Through the right-hander, well within track limits, and that's exactly what Guardian needs. No lap time set so far. Big Sam retires from the session, meanwhile, at the end of Eau Rouge. I'm pretty sure that's him. So there you go. He will take no further part in this qualifying session towards the end. Apparently no more time on the table. Currently in P13. Will stay at best P13. Let's see what's in it for Guardian, though. Plants the power across the line. Clean lap time, and he goes ahead of Big Sam. 1 minute 44.1. What can Stark do? He goes fastest! Oh, yes! Go on, Stark. Let's see what happens here. What continues to transpire? Magico up to 8th, and then 2 McLarens line astern. Buck 20 goes up into P5. Milo can't improve. And now we wait to see what the Alpha Tauri boys can do. Through Blanchimont goes Thanassi. Diving into the bus stop chicane, carrying as much speed as the car will allow him to do so. Aerodynamics just complying across the line, and there it is! There's the statement you needed. Pole position for Thanassi, but Terziak is still on a lap. Towards the bus stop chicane he goes, but he's invalidated his time. He was 3/10 up, but he can't improve. And unbelievably, it's that man again. Didn't set a single time through qualifying, invalidated it early on. Pressure was on him. He soaks up pressure like a massive sponge. You cannot stop this man, the championship leader. 3/10 is the gap. It's pole position for Thanassi at the Belgian Grand Prix. Stark in P2, Buck 57 in P3. AlphaTauri 1 and 3. Give them their flowers, ladies and gentlemen. That is absolutely sterling from the Italian-based team. Stark can be very happy with that qualifying, though, and so can Jamie Tarquin and Terziak, really. The top 5 all to play for, then, as we head into the race. And I've got to slightly simmer down because my throat is starting to die on me. So I'll try and chill out a little bit, but that qualifying session was very zesty indeed. Thanassi on pole position at 1:41.927. Nearly 4/10 the gap in the end, and an absolutely sensational effort from the superstar. Stark in P2, Buck 57 in P3, Jamie Tarquin in P4, Terziak P5, McLaren, Buck 20 leads the line, 6th and 7th with Milo there, J-Lane in 8th, Maximus in 9th, and Gamer Ritchie on his Blackout debut in 10th. Very nice. Magico 11th with Pathiman Slam, Giraffe, King DD, Guardian, Big Sam, and Captain Wilco, who was disgruntledly disqualified, should I say, in P18. Space Ghost asks me, what did Wilco do this time? Genuinely nothing. Genuinely nothing. Well, in the FIA's mind, he offended nitrogen, I think, but, you know, he parked off the track to make sure he wouldn't impede someone's time, and then they just, well, Codemasters decided that he was endangering the barrier, so they disqualified him. So he starts last, unfortunately, but race day, and the clouds have gathered. A storm possibly brewing. I'll tell you what else is brewing. A horrendous collision into turn 1. That's my prediction, anyway. That is my prediction. He's a danger, a menace to society. Oh, I know. I know. He's terrible. He sent he put loads of people out of a job, which I was very disappointed at, really. And now he's caused endangerment to barriers everywhere. And really, that is just not on. That is unacceptable, quite frankly. So we wait patiently, then, for the Belgian Grand Prix to get underway. Will surely be a one-stop. But what tyres do you choose? Soft, medium, soft, hard, medium, hard, hard, medium, medium, soft, hard, soft. Or maybe if there's a safety car, you do something completely rogue and out of the blue altogether. That's what we're going to find out. Thanassi leads the line then. Has a chance to extend this championship lead. 5 red lights. Lights out and away we go. Almost instantaneous there. But a good start from Thanassi. Holds down the inside line. Stark, though, blitzes round the outside. Or tries to, but Thanassi has that covered all day long. And remains in P1. Stark in P2. Jamie Tarquin, someone that's taken advantage on the softs. Ahead of Buck 57, who started on the mediums. There was a collision into turn 1. I was right, but it was nowhere near horrendous. Guardian made a little bit of an oopsie. But he carries on his merry way, albeit with emotional damage. Jamie Tarquin through into the lead. My Jesus, on a bicycle. That is outrageous in the Kemmel Straight. Through goes the Alfa Romeo drive out of nowhere. Gets past 3 cars. Stark goes past Thanassi. Lovely little move. Through Laycom on the outside for the left-hander. Had the inside for the right. Absolutely finessed the AlphaTauri driver. Beautiful there from Stark, but Jamie Tarquin has escaped the gap already at 1.5 seconds. That's a statement and a half, and that's exactly what the Alfa Romeo driver needs to do. Either way, let's look elsewhere. McLaren up to 5th and 6th because Terziak has not had a great run of things, but he's trying to rectify that mistake as round the outside of Buck 20. The second place man in the championship tries to go easily past into that left-hander, although Buck 20 feinting him into a little bit of defensive driving. Can't find that switchback though. That straight just not long enough. has to settle in for P7. Could be Milo, though, that's going on the attack. Look at that slipstream. Milo giving it the good old suck towards Blanchimont. You don't want to say that very often. As into the bus stop. Could think about a little dive. Has the confidence to do so, but doesn't go for it this time. He's going to bide his time because he knows that Kemmel Straight is coming up soon and things could get spicy. Jamie Tarquin over the line then with a 1.7 second advantage over Stark. That is exactly what he needs to do. Just fly off into the distance, escape into a different continent as Giraffe gets past Magico into La Source. Come on, husband. Don't let me down. Use that slipstream. Send that man to the Shadow Realm. I believe in you. I didn't do that drunk wedding dance for nothing. Okay, I might have done, but still. Here comes Thanassi down the straight, and it was predictable, really, wasn't it? Down the inside he goes, and the rains began. Okay, then. Here we are. The rain starting very early on. Not looking like it's coming down, but it's trickling, to be honest with you. That's the best way I can put it. But 2.1 seconds the gap now between Jamie Tarquin and Thanassi. So, more faster doesn't necessarily mean more better. Donut Media, if you copyright strike me, I will cube your heads. Through into Puon then. Thanassi up into P2. Stark demoted to P3. But with the rain coming down, things could get interesting. And Terziak again on the move. This time down the inside of the right-hander. Sorry, I've got an allergy. So the overtakes on display. Terziak's through on the McLaren man into P5. Milo went further towards the Atlantic Ocean than the apex of that corner. Kind of moved out of the way in sympathy, but Terziak on a charge and not letting anyone hold up his progress. Nearly a second behind Buck 57 though, with DRS enabled on the next lap. And we know just how powerful DRS is at this track. So hopefully he can keep well within the range. We'll have to wait and see though. As into the pits comes the Mercedes man of Slam. The rain is coming down a little bit heavier now. So it's a game of strategy now. Who blinks first? Who dares to be brave and go onto the Inters first? The answer is Slam and Maximus, although it might also come at the expense of a front wing. Well, in Maximus's case it does. In Slam's case it doesn't though, and away he goes. Guardian, I would also assume, onto the intermediate tyres. Very interesting then, as King Didi looked for a move on Captain Wilco through a rouge, or rather, it might have been Captain Wilco going for the move on King Didi, but DRS open. Look at how powerful that straight line speed and DRS flappage is. Easily the Haas driver gets back past, but I'm sure Wilco will have something to say about that, as Giraffe now gets past Milo. Milo's sinking like a brick. What on earth's happened to the McLaren driver? Was right within the realm of Terziak and now has nothing to show for it. Terrible news there. Anyway, looking down, this is what I'm more interested in, as Pathimam looked to have a move on Gamer Richie for a brief moment as he hits the wall. Front wing end plate gone for Mr. Rich Boy. Suddenly feels a little bit sorry for himself as round the outside goes Mr. Pathogen. Very nicely done indeed. And he's turned Gamer Richie's dreams into nightmares as he easily winds his way round the outside of the Williams driver, getting damage at the end of that left-hander. Not an ideal scenario whatsoever. Anyway, like I was saying, I'm anxiously watching the tires begin to tumble. What's happened to Wilco? Wilco with a spin. Be so careful, lad. Has front wing damage. Luckily, no safety car needed or anything of any sorts. And away they carry on as Thanassi and Jamie Tarquin come into the pits. In fact, Terziak does Buck 20. There's a bunch of drivers coming in to fit on a new set of boots. And the answer is the Inters are already going on here. An easy change. Away goes Jamie Tarquin. No hold-ups whatsoever. And down the pit lane. Look at that. Look how greasy the track is. Stark then inherits the lead of the race. But look at that. You'd be better off with a canoe than you would with a Formula 1 car. It's absolutely outrageous. The weather situation here at Spa-Francorchamps, I told you. In real life, at the best of times, the weather is flippant. But Slam now up into P11 on those intermediates. And past King Didi as well, into P11. I think Slam was relatively in that position before anyway. So, fitting the intermediates on a lap early has actually paid decent dividends for the Mercedes driver. There's Maximus up into P14, past Pathogen Man. Giraffe gets past Buck 20. Still DRS, I think, enabled, but manages to get through. on the intermediate tyres. Just had a better exit and more confidence, but either way, up into P9. Well done, Mr. Giraffe. How many neck puns can I make in a single stream? Actually, I don't know if you want to find out, so let's not find out. Wilco down in 18. It's really what could have been for Wilco so far, isn't it? It's just a sinking feeling overall. It's quite horrible. Your provisional race leader then, Jamie Tarquin in P6, as yes, DRS is finally disabled. So there we go. It is really time now for the intermediate tyres to be slapped on the car if you haven't already. Top 5. Jamie Tarquin, the provisional race leader though. Thanassi 1.9 seconds to gap, and actually it remains quite stable ever since they got out of the pit lane. We'll see what kind of momentum that AlphaTauri driver, the championship leader, has against Jamie Tarquin, a reserve driver for this season, but has made many an appearance in this Blackout Racing Series 2 on F1 23. And we are all the better for it, as very wide goes the Ferrari, and in fact probably held up Jamie Tarquin slightly as well, a bit wide out of the exit, and that was not part of the plan whatsoever. Through no fault of his own, he's now lost a chunk of time to that man just in the background. The gap that was 2 seconds, now 1.1 seconds. Make that 9 tenths. Goodness gracious me, the Ferrari misjudging everything there was to misjudge, and it's cost him dearly, as Stark, despite fitting the inters later than everyone else, still comes out in P4. That's pretty incredible, I must say, and on the fresher intermediate tyres, perhaps there is a part to play for Stark yet. Terziak up into P3 after all of that. Fitting the intermediates on, staying out of trouble, using all of his guile and his talent, which is exactly what he has done. He's now up into a very nice position indeed. The gap out front then, stabilising for a brief moment. In fact, all the gaps really stabilising. It's Buck 20 that could be on the move on Buck 57. Look at that. Darting this way and that, trying to open up any avenue that presents itself, but the doors are slammed firmly shut by his Buck counterpart. Much fizz, many wow, as we head into Puon. Taking a narrower line is Buck 20, and it looks to be paying off. Look at the confidence he has, and this could be very interesting. A potential for a move here, but on the exit, Buck 57 just seems to have the answer for the time being, but all the pressure being piled on by this man. Will we see a move into the bus stop? That's a question, as King Didi, I think, gets another 3-second time penalty. So that's not ideal, but anyway, Buck 20 in the slipstream is running a customary million wings. Through Blanchimont he goes, and the downforce will pay off. He's gained a bit of momentum. Could think about a dive into the bus stop chicane. Thought about a dive into the bus stop chicane. As how wide does Slam go? Or Giraffe? I don't know who that's Giraffe. It is Giraffe, my apologies. Look how wide he went. Buck 57 says thank you very much. I'll accept that invitation. Buck 20 says I'll take a first class stamp and send it gold star down the inside. Very nicely done indeed, and now Milo is on the scene. Giraffe loses 2 positions in the space of a single straightened corner and could be about to lose a third one before the end of the Kemmel Straight. Although Giraffe going back on the move then, I'm watching at the front anxiously as Thanassi could look to go on the move. Giraffe gets past Buck 20 though. Look at this. Through he goes, and Buck 20 is now down to 8th place as Milo tries to go round the outside of Giraffe. Keep it clean, boys. Don't do anything silly. Into the right-hander. Look at this. Beautiful wheel-to-wheel racing. And Milo claims the biscuits in this dogfight. Very nicely done indeed. And does not sail hugely wide. Keeps it all together and takes 6th place. As, oh dear, Jamie Tarquin with a 3-second time penalty. Pushing hard to keep the championship leader behind. And it has all gone very pear-shaped indeed. 3 seconds. If Michael Massey was watching, he would have been very impressed. Unfortunately, the Codemasters gods were watching instead, and they were not impresso. They were very dispresso. Not a nice drink. Quite sad, actually. Don't have that drink. Through Blanchimont then. Thanassi doesn't even really need to overtake for the lead. He can stay behind Jamie Tarquin very easily and just win the race like that. These two are in a league of their own here at the front in the wet at the Belgian Grand Prix. Look at that exit though for Thanassi. Down the inside into La Source, and surely it's done. It is done. A textbook move, easy as you like. The championship leader takes P1 at the Belgian Grand Prix. Comfortable as you like, and he'll surely try and sail his way along now. But remember, Kemmel's straight incoming, and Jamie Tarquin with a huge bout of slipstream and a touch of ERS to boot. And you'll be able to see on the onboard just how profound that effect is. Look at the way he's reeling him in. Thanassi the big fish, but no opportunity presents itself there. And Jamie Tarquin has to settle in for P2. His mission now is just to make sure he finishes 3 seconds ahead of Terziak. That's all he needs to do. Meanwhile, things getting tasty between Buck 20 and Mr. Giraffe, where Milo made the move last time round the outside. Here comes Buck 20 to try and do the same. Not going to work this time, though. In fact, gives the tush of Giraffe a little bit of a smooch. Naughty, naughty, sir. Keep it clean. Disgraceful. Through the right-hander, though. Giraffe goes wide briefly. Oh, no! What's happened to Buck 57? Into the wall, and safety car is out. Just saw in there as we looked at Buck 20. Terrible, terrible news there for the AlphaTauri driver. And what was looking to be a promising set of affairs for both the Italian team's cars. Now there's only one at the front. The other one meets Barrier, who gets his pickouts out and mines him into oblivion. And so I can take a little voice break. That's amazing, that, isn't it? This makes me very happy indeed. Safety car is out then at the Belgian Grand Prix. And this is your running order so far. Thanassi took the lead just about a lap ago, just before La Source. Jamie Tarquin with a less than ideal exit. In fact, it wasn't ideal at all. And Terziak's coming into the pits, actually, while I was going through there. Sorry. Why is he coming in? Is there something I don't know? Into the bits he goes, probably for a fresh set of intermediate tyres. If so, a bold gamble there from the man in second in the championship. We know how omnipotent fresh tyres can seem against older tyres. Let's see just how much... Oh, just got rid of the UI. Let's see just how much younger those tyres will be. The answer is at least 3 laps. A minimum of 3 laps, and into P6 comes Terziak. My computer has a skill issue. I'm about to send you into a skip. Anyway, through Eau Rouge and up through Radion goes second place man in the championship, Terziak. How many times am I going to use their championship statistics when addressing them? None from now, so let's just address them by their normal name. The Alpine driver, 6th place on the freshest intermediates in the business. And of course, the rest of them have caught up to safety car now. And like I was saying, new tyres can be king. We know they can be king. And for those of those drivers at the back who perhaps didn't have the best run of things earlier, Guardian onto wet tyres. That's very interesting and possibly very incorrect because it doesn't look at all near enough wet conditions. But anyway, those drivers at the back who have nothing to lose actually now can't lose anything by pitting onto a new set of intermediates. They'll be able to catch up to the back of the queue, bunch up, and really have the best opportunity of improving their position. And that could prove crucial here. Buck 20 also pit as well. He rejoined in P10, just behind the Ferrari of J-Lane. So all to play for then at this safety car. Tactics becomes the big talking point. Terziak's displays died. That's not ideal. Right, what happened to Giraffe there? I have no idea. I saw him and Magico swapping positions frantically there. Giraffe now down to P9. Was he in P9 before? I have no idea. Why is he down in P9? What did he do? I have no idea. I'm bamboozled. I am bombastically bamboozled. Running order, though, under this safety car. Thanassi in P1, Jamie Tarquin in P2, Stark in P3, Milo in P4, Terziak in P5 on the freshest inters of the lot. And he's in P5 now. I thought he was behind Slam before. I'm confused. Anyway, Slam's in P6, Magico in P7, J-Lane in P8, Giraffe in P9, Buck 20 in 10th, with Pathiman, Big Sam, King DD, Maximus, Gamer Ritchie, Isuzu Man in 16th, and Guardian in 17th. Buck 57, our only retirement of the race, after having a small skill issue and meeting head-on with Mr. Barry R. The Belgian Grand Prix then. Teamed to the brim, packed with history. So much we could talk about, but Belgium in the wet as well, that is something else entirely. A completely different monster, as Jackie Stewart will attest to in 1966. When he crashed, he was lodged against the steering wheel of his car. The tub had actually bent in such a way that he couldn't prise himself from the car. Petrol was pouring out of the car, could have caught fire at any moment. The marshals inadequately equipped. The ambulance got lost on the way to the hospital. The helicopter couldn't land because it was the foggiest day of all time. So there you go. It just wasn't really good enough, was it? In 1998, it saw, number one, probably the biggest crash in Formula 1 history I've ever seen. Definitely the most cars involved. Carbon fibre shattering everywhere into particulates, polluting the air, but the spectators still had a great time because after inhaling that much particulate, they would have been delirious. And also because Schumacher and Coulthard made contact in a race where Schumacher looked almost certain to win. Well, I think it was just a miscommunication, really. Visibility was bad enough as it was, but then couple that with the fact that, well, Coulthard, number one, stayed on the racing line, which I thought was a little bit weird. Number two, that Schumacher wouldn't have seen Coulthard on the racing line anyway. And three, that Schumacher probably should have expected Coulthard to be on the racing line, or perhaps waited his time a little bit longer. Either way, he accused Coulthard of killing him. Doesn't really matter what he thought, to be honest with you, because, well, his race was goosed. He probably still would have won the race on three wheels, but that is not legal in Formula 1. Unless it's the last lap of the British Grand Prix in 2020. Safety car in then. My voice thought it had time to rest. The answer is no, forget that, sunshine. We're getting straight back to the big time. Thanassi will control the field then. Look how slow he's going. My goodness me, he's eking this out as much as possible. Weaving all over the track. A big slide as he dumps on the power. For style points, that's 100. And for execution, that is also a very impressive effort. As away we go for more racing in Blackout. It's live. Through the bus stop chicane then. And oh my word, Jamie Tarquin comes absolutely missiling in. Briefly bonks the diffuser of Thanassi. But away we go for Blackout here in Belgium once again then as Giraffe, no! What's happened there? Giraffe has had a little bit of an oopsie into the bus stop chicane. It's this man, that's the man to watch though. Terziak on as fresh intermediates as can be against Milo. But Milo looks like he's absolutely annihilating, well, looked like he was annihilating the battery. The answer is he's not had a great Eau Rouge whatsoever. And here comes Terziak. Used to slipstream down the inside. Maximus in a wall. Maximus out. And another safety car. Oh no! Stark's been tagged. No! He points inwards in towards the barrier at the end of the Kemmel Straight through the first part of Les Combes. It's absolutely disastrous news. A catastrophe for Aston Martin. 14th and plumb last of the running order. As Stark just caught the rear right of Jamie Tarquin. I didn't see it enough to make a firm assessment on it, but it doesn't matter what I would think. It's no consolation. Stark is dead last now. Disaster for the Aston Martin driver. And once again, we are left to recuperate under a safety car. Buck 57 then has left the session, and I don't blame him. I do not blame him. I too would leave the session. It's too treacherous for me. I'm a pussy-o. I couldn't do it. I really have no filter when I have a cold, don't I? I think it's a cold anyway. Could be anything. Could be pneumonia and I don't know. Anyway, that's not really the point. The point is, we're under safety car again. And while we're talking about Belgium in the rain, as we were before, we'll talk about it again. Because In 2021, of course, the whole weekend was an absolute downpour. It's also where Lando Norris had a massive crash in Q3 at the very beginning, in what could have been a pole position for the McLaren driver, and surely a surefire win. Because when the qualifying session did get underway, when all was said and done, George Russell almost took pole position. In fact, only lost it at the very last opportunity at the bus stop chicane. Until that point, he was ahead of Max Verstappen. And that is quite unbelievable. And then Sunday we don't talk about because it was just a catalogue of absolute disaster. And the shambles from F1 and the organisers. Because what's the point in having wet tyres if you don't use them? That's what I'm saying. And what can clear the water most? An F1 car with wet tyres. That's what can clear it most. And yes, the spray is huge, I know. But, like, I mean, motorsport is dangerous. There's no shying away from it. So taking away the ability to rain race is really not ideal. As Jamie Tarquin's about to go for a move on Thanassi under safety car. That's interesting. And he's gone into the lead. Right. Alright, what's gone on there then? Is there something I don't know? Is there a glitch on the safety car? Well, the answer is Jamie Tarquin has dutifully got out of the way and given that position back. So good on him. Good on him. That's the main thing. And now we process for at least another lap as far as I am concerned, because the Aston Martins still have to catch the back of the pack. So then, the running order quickly then, before I take a little water break unless the safety car comes in which case, forget that, I'll just die. Thanassi in P1 then, Jamie Tarquin still in P2, Milo now up to 3rd, Terziak in 4th, Slam in 5th now, Magico in 6th, go on my husband. J-Lane in 7th, Buck20 in 8th, Pathy Man in 9th, Big Sam completes your top 10. Shut up, computer, or I will actually incinerate you. 11th is Gamer Richie, Giraffe in 12th with Guardian, King Didi, and the 2 Aston Martins, rounding out grid order. Indeed, the safety car will be out for another lap, so I'm going to clear my sinuses and my throat by hydrating myself with the blood plasma of Christ. I'll see you in a minute. Welcome back to Blackout Racing. Thanassi, your leader here, as we're under safety car with only a handful of laps to go here at the Belgian Grand Prix. In hot pursuit is Jamie Tarquin, although, as he did lead the race early on, he lost that lead on lap number 5 of the Belgian Grand Prix. Since then, most of the race has been under safety car, which is quite sad. But anyway, the rain is absolutely thundering down now. Look at that. Riding on board briefly with the championship leader. Look how heavy that is now. That is pouring down, and suddenly, me saying that Guardian was a bit of a fool, I might have to eat my own words, because suddenly wet tyres could prove to be the GOAT here at the Belgian Grand Prix. Again, Jamie Tarquin decides to assume the lead of this race. I have no idea why. But he goes off the track again, lets Thanassi overtake, and all is sorted out. Maybe a little bit of mind games going on. We saw how well that went with Schumacher in 1994 at the British Grand Prix. The stewards did not look favourably at all when he got disqualified from that race later on. Unbelievably. Safety car surely in then at the end of this lap. Now, yep, it is. And so, Thanassi once again has the job and the joy of controlling the pace from the front. No cars ahead of him. He gets to decide exactly what the pace is for everybody behind him. Keep an eye out on Guardian, though, on the wet tyres as the rain continues to get heavier. Could be a chance that that crossover happens, and you never know. There's a big chance he gets big points here for the Williams team. We'll just have to wait and find out, won't we? Again, weaving all over the track. Puts the burners on, and away he goes. And look at that gap. 1 second for a brief moment, but Jamie Tarquin, privy to it, manages to catch up a half a second already as they head down towards the bus stop chicane. And we are almost go again in Blackout as Thanassi goes a bit wide here. Slightly scuppers his restart as Buck 20 and J-Lane are going at it, but it's not green flag yet, so I don't know why he's doing that. It is now, though. Here we go. Thanassi P1, Jamie Tarquin P2, Milo in P3, Terziak P4, and we'll try again this time to make that move, which he couldn't do before. Milo, though, is getting past Jamie Tarquin. Down the hill they go, side by side through Eau Rouge. Surely not, boys. You have to be so brave. Milo gets through, but goes wide, and Jamie Tarquin will come through again, surely. And then, look who's here to pick up the scraps. Terziak on board with the Alpine driver using the slipstream. Pulls to the inside, could be 3 wide. Wisely backs out of it. Look how wide Jamie Tarquin has got in sympathy, though. He didn't know how many cars were there. And Milo down the inside. Terziak's there as well. Be so careful, gents. Such close racing. And it will come to a head very soon, I have no doubt. Jamie Tarquin tries to go around the outside, but goes so wide. And Milo and Terziak will easily get past. No problems at all, as King Didi's had an oopsie. Gets it all back together again, though, and on he goes. But that was not part of the plan at all. That's practically pushing Milo through Buon is Terziak, and round the outside goes the Alpine driver. There it is then, a little bit of a mistake from Milo. As, oh no, Bug 20 spears into the wall. And that's the end of the McLaren man's race. No. I saw him spearing off. His car darted to his left, straight into that guardrail. Just out of Buon was side by side, I think. It means Gamer Richie and Pathyman, 8th and 9th. Dream debuts for these two in Blackout Season 2 on F1 23. Guardian, meanwhile, up to P12. A yellow flag now again in Sector 3, as someone's had a moment. And it's Wilco, no. So used to sailing boats. Maybe he would have been more comfortable with an incredible Isuzu, but King Didi might not be done yet here. Could easily make the move. 2 laps to go with the Belgian Grand Prix, and still so much yet to happen. As through goes Giraffe. Stark past Pathyman. Giraffe past Pathyman. Make that possibly Guardian past Pathyman. How many times can I say Pathyman fast? The answer is way too many. Guardian down the inside on the wet tyres, and through he goes. That is a practical hurricane. Look at how massive that rainstorm is. Welcome to Typhoon Terziak, I'm going to dub it, as he is whipping up a storm on those newer intermediate tyres. Big Sam with a brief 3-second penalty. I say brief, it's going to hurt him quite badly. But he's in 13th and Wilco's not within 3 seconds, so for now he is okay. Pathyman and Guardian going at it down the Kemmel straight. Side by side all the way through. Guardian, though, surely goes clean round the outside, and he does. Neat little move there from the Williams driver. And the wet tyres could yet have a part to play. Pathyman with a spin into the wall. Front wing has been cleanly swept off. Voldemort will greet this man with a big huggle. But it is not an ideal scenario. What on earth? Terziak now within a second of Thanassi. Well, 1 more lap to go then. And don't adjust your sets, because things could get very interesting. The newer intermediate tyre, Jamie Tarquin with another 3-second time penalty. Slamming P5, by the way. He could get P4 in this race. Magico could get P5. That's incredible. But look at this. Look at the slipstream Terziak has. Down towards the bus stop chicane. I'm going to hydrate quickly. Because this is going to get very sweaty. Thanassi wide into the bus stop chicane. No! The championship leader with another mistake. Look how he squirrels on the back end as he tries to plant the power. Nothing happening though. And with 1 lap to go, things could get very tasty indeed. Through Lassour's corner, will ride on board with Terziak. Let's see what he can conjure up. Thanassi gets a great exit and will dump that battery all the way down through Eau Rouge, through Radion, and down the Kemmel Straight. I have no doubt about that. A little bit of catch-up from Terziak, but we saw the middle sector was where he was at his most ferocious. That is the most useless camera angle he could have given me. Both of them oh my goodness, no! Terziak way too late on the brakes. Slams into the back of Thanassi. And that's his chance gone. And not only his chance gone, I wouldn't be surprised if a front wing was gone as well. Slam could get a podium here at the freaking Belgium Grand Prix. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. And only, despite how massive that contact is, only an end place worth of damage. Stark's up to P7. What on earth have I missed? Well, part of the job is keeping your nose clean. And Space Ghost, yes, Stark back up to P8 after being last at that safety car. After the contact with Jamie Tarquin, I will tell you what, he'd take that every single day of the week. As through Pouon he goes, he's got every chance of overtaking J-Lane before the end of this race as well. No doubt at all. Shows the nose to the inside. And those newer intermediate tyres, 6 laps newer. And look at the confidence he has. Round the outside. Don't you dare. Naughty, naughty, sir. Tries to go down the inside. Space left by J-Lane. Stark into P6. Oh, yes, he is. Lovely move from Stark as J-Lane goes a bit wide. Ferocious fighting. Fierce fighting. But sumptuous from Stark. Meanwhile, at the bus stop chicane, he weathered the storm. He controlled it where he needed to. And he does it again. Thanassi wins the Belgian Grand Prix. An incredible effort from the championship leader. Over the line in P2 will be Jamie Tarquin, but it will be Milo who claims P2. Slam gets a podium for Mercedes. Unbelievable effort. Terziak will just claim P4 ahead of Jamie Tarquin. Damage limitation on that last lap after he completely misjudged his braking zone against Thanassi. But still, the damage is not too heavy. Jamie Tarquin settles for P5, but he'll more than settle for that. Stark, an absolutely awesome fight back, my friend. P6 and a certified Coldplay fan. So he's basically won the race. Wrap up the championship. He's won it. I'm just saying, I don't make the rules. He's won the championship. Slam, your driver of the day then, and well, was the first man to blink and get onto those intermediates, kept his nose clean, kept out of trouble, and it's paid off so handsomely. A podium for the Mercedes driver. And that is much more the Mercedes team of last season we wanted to see on the podium. It's this man again, though. That's on top of the world. Thanassi wins the Belgian Grand Prix in scintillating fashion. The Sprite Zero is sprayed absolutely everywhere. And that concludes a very topsy-turvy set of affairs at Spa-Francorchamps. My goodness me. There you go then. Thanassi takes the win and the fastest lap. A full complement of 33 points for the championship leader. Milo in P2. Great result from him. Slam. Awesome job to get the podium, mate. Terziak in P4. Jamie Tarquin 5th. Stark. That's a hell of a fight back, and you love to see it. Sorry, in P6. J-Lane in 7th. Magico in P8. Well done, my friend. My husband. Gamer Richie in 9th. Captain Wilco completes the top 10 after all that. Well done, sir. With Guardian, Giraffe, King Didi, Big Sam and Pathyman does get a point in his debut Blackout race with Buck 20, Maximus and Buck 57, your retirees for this race. It is not a good day if your name is Buck. And that is quite sad, really. Well then, that concludes a very sweaty and zesty Belgian Grand Prix. And also a very moist Belgian Grand Prix. Soon, though, we take it to the Netherlands, pretty much right next door to the Belgian Grand Prix. So geographically, in Blackout, we are saving the planet. Ignore the fact we did Ignore the fact we did Abu Dhabi and then Hungary last week, and then we'll be fine. There's nothing to see there. So, I'll put it on standby. That is all you need to see. And once again, we're going to take a little break. Have a little. Put your feet up. Have a Kit Kat since it's a break. If Kit Kats are your preferred choice, other chocolates are available. But there you go. A pretty crazy race one, I must say. Overtakes galore, mistakes galore, and absolute scenes from minute one. Congratulations to your race winner, Pneumonia. Congratulations to Thanassi, should I say, for getting that win and the fastest lap. And Milo and Slam for finishing out that podium sequence. A big congratulations to Stark as well for that fight back. Wilco getting in the top 10 as well. And a congratulations to my husband. Commiserations to some of the drivers there. Blackout is heartbreaking at the best of times. And that race, well, that was exemplary, wasn't it? We'll take a few minutes break then. We are off to Zandvoort soon. Don't miss out, because if it's anything like Belgium, it's set to be a scorcher.
Till I get up, time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways. And on we'll go.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back again. We're back again. That's all I have to say, really. We are here again for more Blackout Racing. This time it's qualifying time at the Dutch Grand Prix. Quite a few of you in here now. Hello there. Welcome along. Hope you're having a lovely evening or day or whatever time zone it is where you are. Magico put in the chat a clip of him being absolutely walloped into Narnia. And I watched it and he was walloped into Narnia. It was pretty incriminating, to be honest with you. I'll put that in front of the jury, to be honest with you. Gamer Richie also here as well, asking if his name on screen actually is Gamer Richie. Yes, it is, my friend. You are indeed Gamer Richie. And he says the last race was chaos. Imagine how I feel. My esophagus is bleeding. First time playing these wheel to wheel with Stark, he did an awesome move. Rule number 1 is when racing Stark, you will always have awesome wheel to wheel battles. And that's really all there is to say. So qualifying, here we are again then. Back to do it all over again. Lap data enabled, of course it is. And this time history will finally repeat itself in a good way. Because Wilco is the first out onto the track. Here at Zandvoort, had quite the chaotic race here in Blackout at the Dutch Grand Prix last season, which you can check out on my YouTube channel, KarlsCars. Subscribe if you haven't already. It has every single Blackout VOD that I ever streamed and did on Twitch, even from season 1. So if you wanna live the nostalgia, or perhaps live the memories of this race this evening, in a few moments' time, once this stream is over, go over to my YouTube channel and it will be there. For now, though, we're in the present, and in the present day, Captain Wilco is going for an absolute bonanza around the Dutch Grand Prix track. The thing with Spa is that it's a huge track. Massively long lap time and massively long cooldown lap in order to return to the pits. Here's Zandvoort is exactly, well, it's a counterpoint to that, really. It's a really short track, easy to get in and out of the pit lane as quickly as possible. Get a lap done, get back in, fit fresh boots, get out and do it all over again. So then, Captain Wilco, round the final corner. And you know what? Let's ride on board with him. None of my voice, turn up the noise, and feast your ears on the symphony of V6 noise. The first lap times are in of this session. Both Aston Martins did a decent time, but it's Buck 57 that's on the move. If you're in an AlphaTauri, it's a great time. And Milo not far behind. Hello, he's woken up here at the Belgian Grand Prix, and Big Sam's woken up. Hello, the sleeping giant. Big Goat 229 in third place, ahead of both Aston Martins and J-Lane. Incredible stuff. The times will continue to come down, though. Magico also on a lap. Let's see what he's done. No invalidated track limits across the line, and he goes 8th fastest for the time being with 1 minute 12.5. Did he use any battery, though? The answer is no, he didn't. Across the line goes an Alpine of Terziak, and he's washed. He is washed. So let's carry on our merry way and see that Buck 20 has gone into P7 with a 1 minute 10.9. Another Aston Martin coming across the line. Well, coming across the line again, in fact. Well, it's actually Wilco in the pit lane. So it wasn't coming across the line at all. It's in fact Maximus that will cross the line with a representative time across the line, and it's P7. A 10th off his teammate, but it is P7 nonetheless. A decent time and a purple sector 3 to boot. Watching anxiously at the bottom of the screen, there's a Williams that's going to be coming across the line very soon. Who is it? The answer is, it is Guardian up into P9. Very nice. McLaren again. Milo into the pit lane. And the pit assist takes care of the rest. Stark across the line, though. And he's going to do another lap on those tyres. We've seen Stark do this before in a couple of races, actually. So let's see what kind of pace he has in store. King Didi across the line into P12, but the man to watch is this man, Terziak. Through the final banked corner he goes, and he's come out of it with interest, and he's going to pin it to the floor, and hopefully come out with a great investment of pole position by 7/10 of a second. Stop it. Buck 20, that's much more like it. A 1 minute 9.7 as well. Only 2 drivers in that 1 minute 9 range, and boy, have they set the gauntlet for the rest of the grid to chase down. Slam across the line. The podium dweller last time can only muster P15 this time. That is not an ideal scenario, as Maximus has already quit out of the session. P10's not that bad, mate. Chill out. It could be worse. Buck 57's out for another lap, though, through the first corner. A little bit of a slide, though. And already he'll be chasing time as he goes through the rest of this lap. Chasing his own tail as through the bank corner he goes. That was much cleaner indeed. Got hardly any battery left at all, in fact. The start goes up into P5 with another lap time on old tyres. That is very impressive indeed. Ahead of Giraffe, who's made his way into P6 in all of that madness. Meanwhile, Gamerishi just ahead of his teammate. So that's very good for him. I've got nothing else to add to that. Jamie Tarquin's on a lap, though. Through Sector 1 he goes, riding on board with a man who came 5th place at the Belgian Grand Prix. This is a decent amount of exit out of that corner, actually. As now the roller coaster ride begins. The slight pull up the hill, and then it decompresses, and then you hurtle through the right-hander. Could have turned in a bit earlier, actually. Got the car pinched in and let the downforce do the work. Remaining in 7th gear, though, and actually using no battery at all. So don't treat this as representative time from Mr. Jamie Tarquin, because it isn't one. We'll see what kind of time he does in a minute, though. Meanwhile, J-Lane crossing the line to start another qualifying lap here in the Dutch Grand Prix qualifying session. Clues in the name. Wilco on another flying lap in this session. As Jamie Tarquin rounds the final corner. Again, through the banked corner. Tries to up his interest, however, it hasn't really... Well, it's a 1 minute 10.6 whilst using hardly any battery, so I think that's probably quite good, to be honest with you. And now, he's dumping the electrical energy. The Duracell bunny is actually dying inside, and away he goes again. So we saw what he could do with no battery. Let's see how much of a difference that extra bout of horsepower, when it kicks in, what that can muster up. Milo crossing the line to start another lap. It's Captain Wilco, though, half a second up on his time currently. Put him in the 1 minute 9s, but knows he can send it a little bit more. The first lap's just for confidence again. And once you have that first lap in, you can really push. Sky's the limit, or you don't give a... Oh my goodness, a 1 minute 9.693. Wilco saved me with the bell, so thank you, my friend. 1 minute 9.6, and like an incredible Isuzu, he manages to turbocharge and plough through the opposition into P2. Very nicely done. Milo on a lap as well, meanwhile, but we're going to watch briefly. Oh, no! Mistake for Milo. I watched it completely the wrong time there. I apologise for cursing you, my friend. Please don't reverse too much. That's the correct thing to do, because Codemasters still haven't invested in a new guide dog. In fact, they probably invested in a guide cat, and unfortunately that ran away, so what can you do? In any case, though, Terziak on an outlap again. Wilco in the 1 minute 9s. Jamie Tarquin now in the 1 minute 9s, I told. Well, there you go then. 1.1 seconds with a bit of battery, and that was with older tyres as well. So a very impressive time from Mr. Tarquin, but here comes the man of the moment. The man of every moment, apparently. Thanassi gets on the grass and still makes it look manageable, but goes wide through the left-hander. You can see the grit on his right-hand side tyres, all of which are going to make him lose time. Still briefly a purple Sector 2, according to the track map, though. So don't ever sleep on this man. Actually, don't. He'll file a restraining order on you. But through the last 2 corners he goes, flicks the car in, complies beautifully, using that first little bit of curb. And it just makes sure he doesn't unsettle the car. Towards the line he goes, and it will not be pole position, but it will be very, very close, crucially for him. And he knows where the time is to find in that Sector 2 bit. Don't overextend it, and you'll be absolutely fine. Let's see what else can be done then. A Ferrari crossing the line to start his flying lap. That's Maximus. An Aston Martin and a McLaren as well of buck 20. There's a purple sector 1 for Thanassi. My apologies. We're still running a ball with him, aren't we? Buck 57, however, now that I mentioned it, it's actually very close setting. Oh my god, a 1 minute 8.9. Right then, it's getting zesty. What can Buck 57 try and do? He can't get anywhere near. He's 1 minute 9.7, which in itself is mightily impressive. But even so, hardly in the ballpark of Terziak, who's just really put everyone's heads in a spin. And now Thanassi really has to attack this. Currently 3 attempts up. On the older tyres as well, remember. So all to play for through the final 2 corners. Again, uses as much of it as possible. But he has absolutely no battery left. And he's going to be losing time all the while as he heads down the pit straight. And he gives up on it into the pit lane for the championship leader. Terziak has set an ominous statement for the rest of the grid to try and follow up. It's more ominous than that man in the background, Jos Verstappen, for many reasons. I hate that man. He's a prick. Anyway, through the final corner comes Buck 20. I apologise for the colourful use of language. Or I don't, actually, because Jos Verstappen is a bit of a knob. Doorknob. All the knobs. It's just a knobhead. Start goes 4th with a 1 minute 6.6. What's 1 minute 6? If he did that, he'd be 2 seconds on pole, and I'd question his ethics. But 1 minute 9.6, should I say, and he goes into 4th place. Buck 20 didn't deploy all his battery, and he goes again. Giraffe through the final corner. What have you got? Nothing. He's 5-point-something seconds down. What on earth happened there? But he's going to go again. Seems like he's going again. Has hardly charged up the battery for it, so that's very surprising. But either way, through he goes. And Buck 57 is going to do another lap on those older tyres. He's got the time to do so. Don't see why not. Gets it on the gravel. That's not a great start. Through the right-hander he goes. And into the bank corner. Can properly send it through there. In real life, they'd be right to the outside, using the biggest angle of elevation of the banking to their advantage. In the game, that doesn't apply. You stay to the inside, you gain time. Cargo, whee! Jamie Tarquin's on another lap, meanwhile, as well. Apparently a second up on his time already, and he only did
Get in there,
4
Lewis.
corners.
Miracles do happen,
So
mate.
there you go, then. That is a story, isn't it? Thank you, Oakhawk Gaming, for the follow. Welcome along to the fun of the Blackout Racing League. I hope you enjoy. Jamie Tarquin takes that corner for a snip. And that, in the eyes of the stewards, is not very nice. So let's see what Giraffe is up to. Going wide. It's going badly for whoever I watch, really. So let's find out what the McLaren man of Milo is doing. Hopefully none of that. Made a mistake last time I watched him. This time, though, seems to have it all under control. Through the left-hander he goes. Plants on the power. Little bit on the curb. The car complies absolutely crisp as you like. Half a second up on his time currently. That'll put him in P4. Hopefully he can keep that time all the way through to the end of his qualifying lap. On board through the final 2 corners. Misses that apex. Actually, a bit of hesitation going into that penultimate corner. Could lose him a tiny bit of time, but the narrowest line of attack as Big Sam retires from the session. Across the line, it is a 1 minute 9.6, but it is so unbelievably close. From Stark down to even Buck 20, just 0.03 of a second separate 4th down to 8th place. A minute improvement from any of those drivers. It's going to make all the damn difference, and you best believe I am ready for it. Only a few fleeting moments. Hope you're all having a lovely day, unlike Milo through that corner, who again takes it for a chop. Who is actually on a lap meanwhile? Well, Pathiman's just gone 9th fastest with the 1 minute 9.9. No idea if he's on another outlap. The answer is he's got absolutely no battery left to fight with, but it seems like he's going like a bat out of hell. So that's very interesting. J-Lane pulls into the pit lane. Is anyone actually on a lap? Oh, this man is. Sorry. Sorry, I missed him again. Thanassi goes fastest, so 1 minute 8.899. Yes, the track has evolved since then, but that is much more of the benchmark we expected to see from the championship leader. And another statement is laid down. Only a 1/10 of a second's worth of statement. But how much time is there to find in this track? Well, Terziak's 5.7 seconds down on his time. So, not really. Thanassi's... What's happened there? What has actually happened there? Thanassi's retired from the session, apparently. What the hell's gone on there? Thanassi's actually done with his qualifying. That's it. Okay, then. Call me Mr. Confidence, says the Greek driver, with the world on his shoulders. Conveniently, as he's named after a Greek god. Right then. Well, Terziak, what's your bottle made out of then? 2 minutes and a half to go of this qualifying session. Surely Terziak's last time of the session as well. And the only chance he'll have, he's 1,000th up on his Sector 1 time. My word. Talk about fine margins, and there's that. Hardly anything to find through the first part of the lap. Into Sector 2 then. It has to be attack, attack, attack. That's the name of the game, and Terziak has to play it to perfection. As through the left-hander he goes. It's very clean indeed. Possibly not as on the limit as I would have expected. He's 2 tenths down. 2 tenths down on his current time. And if he really gets on with it, he can get in the pit lane and do another lap time. But that is disastrous. He has no battery left to play with at all. Terziak does peel into the pit lane then. This is going to have to be the quickest turnaround of all goddamn time. It doesn't even matter. The rain is here. And if you're trying to improve, I'm sorry. I hate to spoil it for you, but you're probably not going to. The track will get slipperier and slipperier all the time. And when all is said and done, that man's done it again. Not this man I'm with, although I'm quite fond of Maximus, I'll be honest with you. But Thanassi's done it again. Unless someone really has an answer, that is it. That is qualifying done and dusted. Stark 2.2 seconds down. They're going for some Tokyo drifting. Unfortunately, that will not yield a very quick time. I think all the drivers are probably goosed. Indeed, both Ferraris deciding that's the end of that. And so, that is qualifying. Wrapped up, signed, sealed, delivered. That is an example of how you don't do the banked corner, in any case. Though Jamie Tarquin weaving about. Giving us a little showboating show. Through the right-hander he goes. I'm expecting a drift. Does he give me a drift? No. No, that's 0 out of 10. That's pitiful. That is appalling. I don't believe it. He's probably not listening in, but please do a drift. Just do one. Do a singular drift. No. No, there's no drifting. I can't have any fun. Only 6 drivers left, and 3 of them have got the checkered flag, so it's only Milo, Buck57 and Jamie Tarquin to go. You might as well retire from the session, because it's better to wear ice skates at this track than it is soft tyres. As into the gravity goes, it was an attempt at a drift, that is for certain. But unfortunately, it was really only a skid into the sandbox. So for that reason, it's a 2 out of 10. Not impressed. Big weaving from Jamie Tarquin into the wall. And the rear wing damage has been removed from the game because Codemasters are wimps. So there you go. Qualifying is done, and when all is said and done, Thanassi's done it again. A 1 minute 8.899, just underneath that 0.9 threshold. But it is enough to claim pole position at the Dutch Grand Prix, just ahead of Terziak, the only other driver to get into the 1 minute 8. And then Aston Martin, what a session for them. 3rd and 4th with Wilco and Stark respectively. A great position after almost pain at the Belgian Grand Prix, although great comebacks from both drivers put pay to the F1 gods' attempts to thwart their plans. Here they have the opportunity of a lifetime. Jamie Tarquin in P5 then, Buck57 claims 6th, Milo and Buck20 7th and 8th for McLaren. Pathogen Man in 9th and J-Lane in 10th with Maximus Giraffe, both Red Bulls in 13th and 14th, Slam in 15th, Guardian in 16th, Rich Gamer in 17th, and someone was in 18th. I've got short-term memory loss. It didn't let me see because I can't have nice things. Oh, look at that. It's race day. Good morning. Wake up, sleepyhead. Rub your eyes. Get out of bed. I'll clobber your skull otherwise. Welcome to the Dutch Grand Prix. There's no time for dilly-dallying. It's time to get down to business in the Dutchland. Terziak and Thanassi sharing the front row then for this 35% race around Zandvoort. The man who has been invincible since Formula 1 came back here in 2021. Of course, it's the home hero, Max Verstappen. Although Alonso claiming P2 at this year's Dutch Grand Prix ahead of Perez on track was mightily, mightily impressive. And I believe he got fastest lap as well to boot, just because he could, which is quite unbelievable, really. Well, someone got fast. I can't remember. I think it was Alonso. Someone got fastest lap and they did well. Let's put it that way. The F1 Paddock Club is absolutely throwing hands here. They're loving the scene of the crowd going purely mild. Wait patiently, though. Can Thanassi do the double this week in Blackout? Or will it be another sharing of the gauntlet between the front two? 5 red lights. Lights out and away we go at the Dutch Grand Prix. Thanassi on the softs launches away. Wilco's the one on the move though. And round the outside, he's trying to go of not only Terziak, but Thanassi as well. Brilliant start from him, but Terziak's not done yet. Wilco round the outside, a brief bit of contact, but Terziak keeps P3. No! Jamie Tarquin pretty much nerfs his way into P3, but it is P3 nonetheless. A bit circumspect, but we continue then. Thanassi, Captain Wilco, Jamie Tarquin, Terziak dropping down to P4. Disastrous start there. Stark in P5, Milo in 6th. Buck 57 claims the second one of his names. His Buck counterpart will surely try and make a move. Looked like he was about to. Pathogen Man was the one that tried to go down the inside. Still remains side by side, but it's Maximus now that will have the inside line on his soft tyres, and that will be easy as you like for the Ferrari man. I have absolutely no doubt. On board with Pathogen Man, though, has the inside line, but concedes position as J-Lane goes for a spot of lawn mowing, and that would have been extremely illegal, so he rightly, absolutely sends himself further towards Copenhagen than the corner. Thanassi with the lead then, 7/10 of a second the gap then. Let's see what Captain Wilco has in store for us then. And will the race remain sunny? It seemed like for all the world that qualifying would remain sunny, but it didn't. It didn't. The weather can change in a heartbeat at the flick of a synapse. And maybe the race could prove that case as well. Mediums downwards. Thanassi the only man in the front lot on softs. Wilco, Jamie Tarquin, Terziak, Stark on mediums. Milo on mediums. Buck 57 on mediums. Buck 20 is the next car on softs. Everyone else ahead of him on the medium tyres, and he looked quite racy against Buck 57 here. On board with Buck 20. The Buck's fizz is about to ensue or boil over. It's going to be fit to burst. As with a good exit, Buck 20 could get it done on his counterpart, and he does get a decent exit. No ERS being used. A feint to the inside there, but Buck 57 choosing not to defriend nitrogen particles, and he does well to do that. Giraffe throws the man on the move. Trying to make a move on Pathogen Man, and gets past. There you go then, just before the penultimate corner. Giraffe on the move. Mercedes not having a great run of things so far this weekend. As fastest lap goes to this man, Thanassi. Who would have expected that? Soft tyres, balls made of steel, and he's absolutely flying. Wilco, though, keeping relatively within touching distance. 1.3 seconds the gap. I know it's not DRS range, but it's not even particularly bad either, to be honest with you. And considering he's on the mediums, that can only bode well for the Aston Martin driver. Jamie Tarquin is going to be praying he's within Wilco's DRS range, because this man, Terziak, is looking very fierce. He's looking quite scary, to be honest with you. It's an ominous statement. Hounding the diffuser of the Alfa Romeo driver. Jamie Tarquin a bit wide on the entry there. Does open up the exit for him, crucially, but he's not within DRS. As Terziak actually makes a little mini mistake through that corner. Half a second the gap extends out to now. Formula 1, a game very much of momentum, among many other things. Oh dear! Rich Gamer with a bit of an issue. We're not playing EA Sports WRC, we're playing Formula 1 23. Get your grip, lad. Luckily, he has got his grip. He's found the track and the bitumen. The tyres are biting into that very nicely indeed. And on we go. Jamie Tarquin, luckily, now does have DRS. A good last sector. And on he goes. This race could turn here. This race could turn, and I mean that because while Thanassi does have the overall pace on those softs for the time being, we know how quickly they die out and how quickly they casserole. So very soon, Wilco will have that advantage, and with a DRS train, could bring multiple cars into this front fight. So Thanassi won't have an easy job of things here out front, believe it or not, even though he has done many times, and all the evidence would suggest that actually he's going to eviscerate everyone. But never say never in a Blackout Terziak. Oh my god! Terziak getting very close and personal to the diffuser of Jamie Tarquin. The restraining order instantly filed. Through the left-hander we go then. And the DRS train continues. Wilco actually losing touch now a little bit with Thanassi. And Jamie Tarquin will be looking to get past now, if anything. Looks like he could have the pace, although out of that corner. Narrows it off too much and loses all that time he just gained. A lovely little helicopter shot then. Was a nice helicopter shot. Thanks, Codemasters. Through the final corner we go then. Onto lap number 5. Thanassi's got so much battery left to play with. Wilco has been pushing like a stabbed animal of sorts. Unfortunately, that stabbed animal is beginning to bleed out, and the gap that was within 2 seconds now extends well out of 2 seconds. And that was not part of the script whatsoever. Terziak is just losing time. 10th after 10th, second after second, behind these two ahead of him. We know he's quick. He got that P2 in qualifying. The starts let him down, and now it's his job to rejuvenate his race. 1/10 of the gap briefly. He keeps going narrow at that corner. Opens up this corner, yes, but he loses all that time just before the left-hander. And then going wide is the last thing he needs to do. He's just keeping his momentum all together. Deary, deary me. Well then, Jamie Tarquin's looking feisty. Buck 20's looking even feistier. And he does win the Battle of the Bucks for the time being. Into P7. Buck 20, I think they're words. Buck 20, though, does have to fear a DRS zone, though. Not all set in stone. Terziak's made a big mistake. What on earth's happened there? Stark now well within DRS range. Doesn't get it, though. Buck 57, I told you. Buck 20 should have been scared of the DRS zone. And that's because Buck 57 has swept into P7. My voice is not loving life, I apologise. I'll try and keep it a little bit calmer so we can keep things consistent. But Thanassi, your man out front, almost 3 seconds the gap now. As now the pressure, the shift has begun. Instead of it being Terziak piling on the pressure, this time it's Wilco being pressurised by Jamie Tarquini. Unbelievable. The roller coaster of Formula 1 at Zandvoort continues on a wide line from Mr. Tarquini. Using that DRS, it won't be anything advantageous though, nothing he can capitalise on. But the main straight is a calling, and his phone is ringing, and he will pick up that call very soon. Hopefully not send straight to voicemail, because that's the last thing you want. Especially a man of my age, when the clubs call it. Well, if you do receive a call, don't leave it on voicemail. That's quite sad. Why would you do that? DRS open for Jamie Tarquin, and this can only finish inevitably. Down the inside he goes. Wilco defends a little bit, but it's frankly futile. Down the inside goes Jamie Tarquin. Wilco tried the switch back. Contact was made, but a comfortable move for Jamie Tarquin. Into P2 he goes. Lap number 7 of the Dutch Grand Prix then, and the battling that Mr. Jamie Tarquin and Wilco have done means Terziak is now well and truly back in the fight. And hopefully we'll have a much easier run of things as we head down through the right-hander. We've got Captain Wilco to dispatch off this time instead of Jamie Tarquin, but Wilco's actually caught up to Jamie Tarquin. And again, another mistake into the left-hander for Terziak, which will now put him under pressure from start. Meanwhile, out in front, it's calm. It's so calm. This man has never felt more calm in his life. Thanassi is just chilling at the Dutch Grand Prix. He does love this track. It's got a ferocious time trial time, it must be said. And the battle between him and Timalele, well, almost frosted over in last season's Dutch Grand Prix. But that is all truly well and truly past as Wilco gets back past Jamie Tarquin and cleanly does so and comfortably does so. Terziak thought about nipping at the heels of Jamie Tarquin. In fact, he will nip at the heels of Jamie Tarquin, who makes big contact with his rear right. And now it's going to get very grisly as Terziak slow on the apex there. And Stark's gone around the outside. Look at this. Stark going for the move into P3. Surely not. They'll be side by side through the right-hander. Contact made briefly. They're still side by side though. I told you if it's Stark, you get sumptuous wheel-to-wheel battling. And it's happened again here. Great stuff from Stark, round the outside of Jamie Tarquin. Almost did the same to Mr. Terziak. Not to be done in this case, as good lord, that was close to contact. Luckily, nothing happened there. King Didi carries on his merry way, but disaster for the Haas driver. A disaster. I'm here all week, give me a call. 4.3 seconds the gap now, my goodness. As Terziak will now be the one on the attack. Terziak runs with attack, and that's exactly what he's fulfilling here today. That's exactly what he needs to do as well. Through the right-hander he goes. Gap now at half a second. As long as he stays in that DRS train, life is good. Milo, though, is going to put Jamie Tarquin under an obscene amount of pressure. They say pressure makes diamonds, though. Is Jamie Tarquin a diamond? Contact made between my husband and Giraffe. Doesn't come to blows, though. Giraffe and Magico keep their wheels pointing in the right direction, and so it goes. The battle for third place and fifth place I'm watching with great interest. Milo on the move. On board with the McLaren man. Jamie Tarquin seems to have lost all composure since that bank corner overtake on the last lap. Going wide into the left-hander. Gets the exit altogether, though, so he's not completely lost all of his might. Stark trying to hang on to the coattails of the DRS battle. Perhaps give his teammates some assistance, but Terziak, closer than he's ever been, in the DRS zone through the second to last corner. Gap at 6/10 of Slam has a 3-second time penalty. Oh dear. And something must have happened because he immediately got displaced again. Looks like he cut that left-hander anyway. Terziak's the man to watch and can't get anywhere near for the time being of Captain Wilco, but he does have a lot of battery to play with. So that could come in handy very shortly. Stay tuned. J-Lane's past Pathogen man, though, down the inside. Hard tyres versus medium tyres. There was only one result. Hard-ons don't work. That's probably the wrong advice. Anyway, Terziak, half a second. The gap remains. Really, by that main straight, needs to be 4 or 3 tenths within the slipstream and DRS range of Captain Wilco to really ascertain that he will comfortably make the move. As we head into lap number 10 now, this race absolutely flying by here at the Dutch Grand Prix. Again, a mistake into the left-hander. Terziak cannot get the hang of that left-hander. I don't know what it is. Too much rear brake bias, too much commitment into the corner, too much zest on the power. I have no idea. I couldn't tell you. I'm only the man behind the microphone. I only know so much. To the right-hander, will have DRS again, though. Jamie Tarquin, something's happened to him, though. He's down in P8. What on earth happened there? Milo now is promoted up into P5. Doesn't have DRS somehow, despite being within a second. Although the detection zone is really far back, so he probably wasn't within a second at that point. Buck 20 now up into P6. Jamie Tarquin into the pits, in fact, and that could be front wing damage. That could well be what has happened, and it is front wing damage. Oh dear. Hard tyres going on, and the clouds are beginning to gather. Suddenly, like I said in qualifying, sunny skies turn into rainy doom and gloom, and it looks like it could happen again here. 4 tenths the gap between Terziak and Wilco now, closer than he's ever been in this little battle. Again, goes for that narrow line. Can he get the left-hander right? He gets it more right than he did the last time. However, still seems a little bit hesitant going into the apex there. I've no idea why. Literally just turn the wheel, let the aerodynamics do the work, a bit of trail braking, and you're in. This is coming from the guy commentating, by the way, so don't take it to gospel. Let's put it that way. DRS again, but 7 tenths being the gap. That's not going to do any favours. Milo, though, has done himself a world of favours. DRS wide open. Stark, though, peels into the pits straight away and bails out of that battle just as quickly as it marinated into something juicy and sweet. Milo, though, reaps the sweet tooth and claims himself a very sugary and nice P4. Lovely stuff there. McLaren 4th and 5th, by the way. This is more the McLaren we saw in Season 1. As King Didi retires from the session. What on earth happened there? He's retired on track. It's not like he's had any, well, physical damage to the car of sorts. He's out of the race, that's for certain. But he's just parked up, that's it. King Didi out of the Dutch Grand Prix, and I have no idea why. Maybe another front wing gone, but honestly, beggars belief. I don't have a clue. Gamer Richie, here he is, on board with him, the Blackout debutant. Scored a 9th place at the Belgium Grand Prix. Things haven't been so rosy, I will admit, at the Dutch Grand Prix. But perhaps he can get his mojo back, and you never know, with a safety car, anything can happen. Plus, some of these guys haven't pit yet, so that will make all the difference. Thanassi, though, does pit. Off the soft tyres, into the pits he goes. 5.6 seconds the gap. You best believe that this is another masterclass in race pace and consistency from the championship leader onto the medium tyres. If someone wants to count how many times I've said championship leader in this video, you're more than welcome to, but you might be very bored. Both AlphaTauris in, actually, a bit of a double stack thing. And actually, it goes okay. Thanassi proved the softs could do 12 laps, and Buck57 says, I'll accept that invitation graciously. Onto the soft tyres he goes then. And so, it goes. Thanassi rejoined in P7. Buck57 rejoins in P11. On the brand new set of soft tyres. And that can only spell good things. Although Jamie Tarquin is only just behind him on hard tyres. So there you go, the undercut. Just as powerful as anything, even with the front wing that needed changing. Jamie Tarquin still well in the hunt. Speaking of in the hunt, this man's put himself back in the hunt. Terziak, he's well and truly back in the thick of things. Was actually well out of DRS range for a brief moment, but now has got his groove back. And now can start to go on the attack. Although, only attack, well, actually, nearly fake a move into the pit lane. Very interesting there. Hardly seen that in Blackout. Normally, the drivers keep themselves to themselves, but a fake into the pit lane certainly puts the cat amongst the pigeons, which for the pigeons is a very bad thing. But in Terziak's case, perhaps he feels like he's still got more pace on those medium tyres. Any battles to choose from? Well, Thanassi could be on the move very soon. In fact, he's already on the move. J-Lane down the inside. Oh, contact made. That was a bit frosty. What on earth happened there? I mean, Thanassi's now up into P3, but that seemed like needless contact between the two of them. Either way, Thanassi up into P3. J-Lane demoted into P4, but of course he's yet to make a stop. So it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. Jamie Tarquin could also be on the move. Despite his soft tyres being strapped onto Buck57's car, the Alfa Romeo driver seems to have great pace on the hard tyres. And that's just, again, a testament, number one, to the pace of Jamie Tarquin, because he does have great pace. And number two, to the power of the DRS flap. If you open up the flap, you get a nice gap. And with a nice gap comes great lap time. Buck20 peels into the bits while you mull over exactly what I was thinking there. Off the soft tyres finally, and surely it will be medium. You have to be bonkers to fit anything else on. And the sun's come out again. So where the weather seemed to be playing a part, that script has been completely torn to shreds. And now the sun is out again, and it will spell, hopefully, a rosy situation for Buck20, who comes out of the pits. Maximus, hopefully he'll come out ahead of Buck57, and he does indeed. New medium tyres for Buck20, and the charge can begin, although Buck57 beginning to look very racy. Suddenly, the three cars back line astern again. The Bucks bring in the fizz, and Jamie Tarquin will have a good sip if the... Actually, no, he won't. That's disgusting. I'm so sorry. New mediums versus old mediums. How much faster is that? Well, Thanassi is proving that it's much faster. He's in fact chomping into the advantage Terziak currently has, who I'm sure will come into the pits very soon. I have no doubt about that. In fact, make that this lap into the pit lane, and it will be soft tyres unless he's a mentalist. And indeed, he is not a mentalist. He is a marvellous man. Tyres off and tyres on, as a pit crew should. Soft tyres strapped onto the car, and the tyres will bite into the bitumen very nicely from minute one. Wilco goes straight past then. So do Milo and Stark. And why is there a safety car? What? Why is there a safety car? Can someone tell me why there's a safety car? What has happened? What's Maximus doing? Maximus has gone for a pit stop. Guardian. Did you do it? No, you didn't. Right, can someone tell my bamboozled little brain why we have a safety car? Because I would love to know. What possible motive was there for a safety car? Someone tell me that. Anyways, it's a safety car nonetheless. For reasons of extraterrestrial activity. On lap number 16 of 25 of the Dutch Grand Prix. Michael Massey's clearly got bored and flicked a switch. But Thanassi, your current leader, I would assume, will come into the pits as it's a safety car and fit in a fresh set of soft boots. If he doesn't, he's mad. And he is not mad, he is glad. Into the pits for Thanassi. I have no doubt he'll come out, so I've knocked my microphone, sorry. I have no doubt he'll come out in a very strong position indeed, and on soft boots. Meanwhile, let's see where everyone else filters out. And Terziak does get past. Okay then. Right, it's not all completely settled. The score has not been written in stone. Because you need a chisel for that, and that's effort, and I don't like that. But Wilco now takes the lead. Milo in P2, Terziak P3, Stark in 4th, Thanassi down to 5th, yes, on fresh softs, but Terziak has fresh softs as well. So it's going to get quite zesty then, suddenly. I don't know why the safety car is out, I don't know for what reason, but, well, I don't know, thanks I guess, or no thanks, because I wanted to see some racing. And I would have loved to see how far Terziak would have gone up the field without that safety car. But we'll never know. Because Codemasters are Sorry, my microphone keeps cutting out when I do that. I have no idea why. Lap number 17, though, as I'm going to take a tiny water sip very soon. I'll give you a running order quickly before I do that, though. Wilco in P1, Milo in P2, Terziak in 3rd on fresh softs, Stark in 4th, Thanassi in 5th on fresh softs, Buck 20 in 6th, Buck 57 in 7th, Pathyman, J-Lane and Big Sam complete your top 10, with Jamie Tarquin, Giraffe, Magico Slam, Maximus Guardian and Gamer Ritchie completing your running order. King Didi, your only retiree, and if this is a snap reaction to King Didi retiring, they've snapped about 20 minutes too late. In fact, it's the latest onset. They got late onset diseases conjured up in the steward's room, because that is ridiculous. Both Bucks had quite a sad run of things at the Belgian Grand Prix. Here, I think they'll be jumping for joy just that little bit more this time. 6th and 7th as opposed to 16th and 17th. It's already a 10-place improvement nonetheless. So that really is great. The question is, who wins the Dutch Grand Prix? I mean, surely it's one of two people, Terziak or Thanassi. I surely can't see it being anyone else. Oh, he's on mediums? Never mind then. That's really thrown a spanner into the works. I didn't expect that. Medium tyres. Okay, then. Well, I mean, he proved that the soft tyres clearly could work well over 12 laps. In his command, yes. But medium tyres, how interesting. I didn't even notice that. Well, safety car's in this lap, and the question of who will win this race will have it answered very, very soon. In about 7 laps' time. 7 tours of the Zandvoort circuit to go, and your leader, Captain Wilco, will back up the field and control the pace out in front. Safety car almost into the pits. Wilco on the hards will decide when to hit go. Milo on softs as well. Be on the watch for him. The moral whiner of the Brazilian Grand Prix. Wilco pulls the trigger just before turn 2. And away we go for more Blackout Racing here in Zandvoort. Wilco leads and almost has a second worth of gap already. Milo in P2, Terziak third, Stark in fourth. Thanassi trying to find a move. Dives down the inside out of nowhere. That was Banzai. Almost a bit late, but does make the move stick crucially for him. And puts, well, there's no gap now between Terziak and the championship leader. That's not what the Alpine driver would have wanted at all. But now he has to get on the move. And look at this. Slipstream towards the right-hander. If he's going to get the move done, he'll try and do it soon, but he'll surely bide his time. But has to be so careful of Thanassi behind him on those medium tyres. You never know when he's going to strike. Just like there, diving out of nowhere. You really don't know. As to the inside goes Terziak. Trying to find any avenue possible to make a move, but nothing doing there at the left-hander once again. Seemingly his bogey corner at this Dutch Grand Prix. Jamie Tarquin up into P9 in the meantime. Looking back at the front though, and look how close Terziak is. Almost underneath the diffuser of Milo as he heads through the final 2 corners then. No DRS, of course, but a whole bout of slipstream. Milo defends to the inside for a brief moment, moves back to the outside. Slam retires from the Grand Prix. Down the inside goes Terziak, and they've all slowed down. And I can only mean one thing. It's another safety car, and I want to kill myself. What happened to Slam? I have no idea. I genuinely have no idea. Did Terziak get to keep his place against Milo? The answer is just. Yes. He just kept the position between himself and Milo. So then, Terziak has an open goal to potentially win the Dutch Grand Prix. Slam has slammed his controller on his desk or wheel or whatever he's using in frustration, and I don't blame him. I would do exactly the same. Another safety car then. And while we're looking at the Dutch Grand Prix, before 2021, it was actually a Grand Prix. It was a thing then as well. One man got his last ever Formula 1 win at the Dutch Grand Prix in 1985. His name, Niki Lauda. Boy, do a lot of us miss him. What a character and what a driver he was, no less. But an absolute superstar behind the wheel. 3-time world champion. And colourful as ever. Anything else I have to tell you about the Netherlands? Oh, you know what? You know what? Let's find out some things about the Netherlands, shall we? Let's find out some things that you probably didn't know before. How about that? 75 fun facts that you need to know about the Netherlands. I don't want to know anything about the Netherlands. That's gross. Ugh. I'm joking. Right. Interesting fact number 1. Using Holland to talk about the Netherlands is wrong. Holland comprises the Dutch provinces of North and Southern Holland. It used to be economically the strongest region of the country, which is why it's so known. The country's official name is the Kingdom of the Netherlands. So if you call the Netherlands Holland, you will have your kneecaps removed. Neanderthal traces have been found near Maastricht, thought to trace back at least 250,000 years. 20 national parks in the Netherlands, as well as hundreds of woods and lakes. It was the first country ever, the Netherlands, to legalise same-sex marriage in 2001, the year I was born. The official language, Dutch, isn't the only national language of the Netherlands. Frisian, or Friesland, the language spoken in the province of Friesland, is too. How about that? The Netherlands has a long coastline along the North Sea. Only 50% of the country has that. I don't really care about coastlines. Amsterdam is the most densely populated city in the Netherlands and home to at least 200 different nationalities. Mad. 2013, the United Nations World Happiness Report reported that the Netherlands was ranked one of the happiest countries in the world. The 4th happiest country out of every single country ever to exist. The Dutch are the biggest licorice eaters in the world, consuming 32 million kilos of the stuff. 1,000 traditional working windmills still are there in the Netherlands. There you go. Well, I mean, oh no, here we go, this is a fun fact. The Netherlands has the 13th highest income per person in the world, according to the International Monetary Fund. So perhaps that's why it's such a happy country. Who knows? Who am I to say? Money can't always buy you happiness. The audio tape, the videotape, and the CD were all invented in Eindhoven by Dutch company Philips, also known for making screwdrivers. Actually, no, they're probably not actually. Anyway, Amsterdam is entirely built on wooden poles 11 meters deep. This is due to its soil, which consists of thick layers of clay and fen. Bless you. 15,000 kilometers of bike lanes can be found in the Netherlands, and I hate them all. And my final fun fact is the safety car. I'm not talking about bikes. The safety car is going to come in at the end of this lap. 75% of the world's flower bulbs come from the Netherlands. So if you're a florist, you can enjoy your flowers in the Netherlands, because there are a bloody lot of them. Again then, Captain Wilco, only a handful of laps to go at the Dutch Grand Prix, will take the reins out front. Terziak will keep a watching brief though. And when Milo slightly dropped the ball, perhaps Terziak won't do the same. Safety car has peeled into the pit lane. When will Wilco choose to pull the trigger? Hiccups. Here we go then, and there he goes, and we are back underway again at the Dutch Grand Prix. Not as great of a restart this time, but a great restart for this man. Milo could be on the attack. The answer is he won't be on the attack. Star could be on the attack, though, as there's a Ferrari that's had a bit of a problem. Maximus is already into the pit lane with front wing damage. That's not ideal. Behind, though, it's Milo that has to defend. Terziak that's on the attack. All kinds of things are happening. Thanassi trying to go round the outside, but that's never going to happen on Milo, on those soft tyres. I know Thanassi's tyres are so much fresher, but you're not going to do it. He's going to try and do it. Round the outside, though. Stop that right now. The pickup on the tyres, the marbles instantly pick up, and he's sent tobogganing out of the apex. Not ideal. Stark under pressure from Buck 20, meanwhile. Terziak's found his footing again. Not the greatest first sector in the world, but he's come alive now. Half a second the gap. And the long-fought battle between himself and Captain Wilco will come to a head. I have no doubt about that. Towards the end of this race. No DRS. In fact, DRS won't be enabled until the last lap of the Grand Prix. So if you're going to make a move, it has to be in the slipstream. And Terziak not using any battery for the time being. In fact, it's Wilco, the man that's using the battery. It's this man that's going on the attack. Thanassi could go for a dive down the inside. No, he will not. Milo defends very nicely indeed and has to settle for P4, does the championship leader. Well then, the battle will long rage on. And again, round the outside, he tries at the back corner. Nothing doing there again. But he'll do everything in his power. Pikey the slipstream as much as possible. Terziak, my good Lord Almighty. He almost went into the sandbox for a bit of sunbathing. Luckily not the case. And he carries on. Thanassi with a decent exit. Gets the cutback. That late apex has proved to pay dividends. Dumping every single ounce of battery he could possibly have. Tries to go down the inside. Will go down the inside, but Milo with the inside for the left-hander. He'll try and hold this. Milo does need the space, but Thanassi caught up on the grass. And I'm no rocket scientist and no genius, but in a Formula 1 car, going on grass is in fact not fast. So he waits to the main straight again then. Bit of battery, but he's got absolutely nothing left. Final lap of the Grand Prix. DRS enabled. Terziak is running out of time to try and take the lead from this man on hard tyres. Captain Wilco is driving effectively what is a cruise ship as, oh no, Pathogen Man is in the wall. Spun around. He'll still claim one solitary point in this race. Gets it flick spun around, but disaster there for the Alpine driver. Carries on his merry way, albeit with emotional damage. Out in the front, though, it's Thanassi that's really... Look at how much pressure's piling on there. Metric tons of it. Compressing the skull of Milo, who has the sturdiest skull in the world. Don't ask what he's made out of. He's made of stern stuff, that man. DRS enabled, and there's only one chance, really, for Terziak to go for a move. He's going to go for it. Down the inside. And he does take the lead, or briefly he does. Round the outside. Has to try and get the exit. Wilco with a good exit, though. It's not done yet. And round the outside he'll try. No, he won't. Terziak's done it on the final lap. And unbelievably, after such a disheartening race start, he wins the Dutch Grand Prix. Wilco will take P2 with a valiant effort on hard tyres. Milo P3, Thanassi has to settle for P4 in the end. And after the domination at the beginning of this race, you'll feel like he's pretty hard done by after all that. Stark in P5, and look at how close it was between himself and Buck 20. 32 thousandths was all that separated them in the end. And they say pressure makes diamonds. Well, for Terziak, the pressure was on him all race. Hadn't overtaken Wilco all race, pretty much. Kept constantly making mistakes, especially at that left-hander towards the end of Sector 2. But he got the job done on the final lap in the final dying moments. And that man's done it again. And there's the answer to your question. Yes, one apiece between Terziak and Thanassi. And so the championship battle heats up yet more. Terziak with a 4th place and Thanassi with a 1st place at the Belgian Grand Prix. It's completely the polar opposite at the Dutch Grand Prix. Thanassi with 4th place and Terziak gets the win. Poetry really does amazing things, doesn't it? There you go then. Well done to Terziak. Credit to him, especially credit to Wilco for defending as long as he did with those hard tyres. That was unbelievable. Milo in P3, 2 podiums. Again, consistency is key, and he is a merchant of consistency. Thanassi will feel pretty hard done by, really. He'll feel like he would have deserved to have won that race, but it just did not transpire for him in the end. And perhaps track position was the way to go, but we'll never know now. But with fastest lap, you can take some consolation there. Stark P5, Buck 20 just missed out on P5, but a good result with Jalen, Buck 57, Giraffe, Guardian, Jamie Tarquin, Big Sam, Magico, Gamer Richie, Patherman, Maximus Slam, and King Didi. And that's your race order. Eminem literally cannot compete with... Why have I not gone on to the next screen? My game's had a skill issue, hasn't it? That's what's happened. Hello, helicopter. That doesn't look natural for a helicopter. I don't know why. Whew, but there you go. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Blackout on a Monday evening at the Belgian Grand Prix, and the Dutch Grand Prix is done and dusted. And all you can say is, well done to the drivers. They gave us some incredible racing all the way through. Absolutely wonderful. Magico says again, why do I have to be involved in crashes which I do not make? I feel your pain, lad. I feel your pain. Well, for a lot of drivers, it did go their way. For others, it didn't go their way. That sums up Formula 1 quite well, to be honest with you. But in the Belgian Grand Prix, we'll have a nice rundown, and then we'll end things there. Nice and humbly. And we can all get on with our evening, morning, noon, night, whatever time it is where you are. But race 1, Thanassi. Credit to him. Jamie Tarquin briefly took the race lead, but once Thanassi had prized it away from his clutches, he never looked back once. Fastest lap and the win, the full complement of points. It was then Milo and Slam, unbelievably, to get a podium. So well done to him. The unexpected Mercedes man. Well, to finish first you have to finish. And Slam finished 3rd, but even so, a great result nonetheless. So there you go. That's you told. Elsewhere, Terziak was right in the hunt for the win, actually. And could have finished as high as P2, but unfortunately misjudged his braking point. Contact with the back of Thanassi, and that was all she wrote. But did still come home in a respectable P4. So there you go. Elsewhere, Magico ended up in crashes that he did not make. It was pain for the Bucks. Both of them out of the race. So it's a pain train. But it was all for them to gain at the next race in Zandvoort, I am sure. And then we headed to Zandvoort, and it was the complete polar opposite. Terziak inherited the win this time, and Thanassi could only settle for 4th, and considering he dominated much of that race from the front at the very beginning, he'll feel like that race should have been his. And possibly it should have been. He was ferocious. No one could match him at all in the race. Absolutely no one. But that's not the way the cookie crumbled. And Formula 1 doesn't like to play nice, as we've seen many a time. And so it was the case in Zandvoort. But it did play very nicely into the hands of Terziak, Captain Wilco, on hard, by the way. Incredible effort. And Milo. 2 podiums in 2 races. He can be very, very happy with that indeed. In fact, as a whole, it's a good day for the McLaren team. Trying to bridge that gap between the Alpine team. And they've done a very good job at that today, especially at Zandvoort. A good score for Buck 20. So close to overtaking Stark on the line there. Apparently, he was trying to pit maneuver him at the end. That's not very nice. But either way, still, a very, very good effort nonetheless. Pain for a few drivers again, though. Pain for a few drivers. And again, my husband caught up in a crash that wasn't his fault. So he tells me. We'll have the couples debrief after the race. But I believe him. Well, I'm in equal parts elated, ecstatic, and absolutely exhausted. That was quite the racecraft there in the Blackout Racing League. I hope you all very much enjoyed that. 2 slobber knockers at Belgium and the Netherlands. Congratulations to Gamer Richie and Pathiman for their first time Blackout efforts. Raced very impressively indeed. And it was good to see them having fun out there at Belgium and Zandvoort. Hopefully. I'm sure they were having fun. I've said it now. The commentator says it, it has to be true. Just saying. So, all that remains for me to say is thank you very much for watching. Thank you so much to Blackout for allowing me to commentate as always. It's always a pleasure to do this on a Monday evening, and I can't imagine doing anything better with my time, and I truly mean that. So thank you. Truly, thank you. If you do want to watch this live stream back, or in fact any other Blackout live stream that I've done over the previous weeks, thank you, Terziak. I appreciate that very much. Well done today, fella. Great racing from you. Congratulations on the win at Zandvoort. And again, it gets tasty at the top of the championship. That's what I meant to say. Still, that gap isn't really wavering. Thanassi only really with a 6-point gain. 6 points, not a lot in the Blackout spectacle. Wilco is absolutely gutted, and I don't blame you, my friend, but still, an immensely commendable effort on the hard tyres, no less, to almost win that race. Considering Terziak was on much fresher softs behind you, you should be pretty proud of yourself. So well done, you. Like I was saying, though, if you want to watch back any Blackout stream that I've ever done, Terziak says, Wilco, you will get one soon. Wilco, on the other hand, says Terziak has no heart. It's all becoming a bit violent in the comment. I say violent. It's all becoming a little bit tense in the comment section. Nah, he will. He surely will. I have no doubt about that. It's cooking. A P2 in Zandvoort. You never know what could happen next week. In fact, where do we travel to next week? Let me tell you. Let me answer that question for you. I retract my Now, children. Stop the fighting. On the calendar next, though, we head to Monza and Singapore. And Monza is going to be absolutely chaotic. I have no doubt about that. Singapore, if it's anything like last season, will also be chaotic. In fact, probably more chaotic. Singapore, I think only half the grid finished, if that. So, if that's anything to go by, then we're in for a treat. Or not a treat. I'm in for a treat. My voice isn't. I'm going to die. But it'll be great fun. I've no doubt about that. Anyways, again, if you want to watch back any Blackout stream, go to my channel, KarlsCars, subscribe if you haven't already, and then you can go to a playlist called Commentary. In that will be this Blackout stream, and not only this Blackout stream, but also there will be every single Blackout stream I have ever done, ever. So go and check them out. Feel free to live the nostalgia, or live the previous, very recent moments indeed. 3-second penalty for Terziak, please. Submit it to the stewards. You have the evidence, my friend. And then other than that, the final thing I have to say is well done to all the drivers, as always, for giving me some great racing to commentate over. It's been a pleasure, as always, commentating over Blackout. Thank you very much for watching, wherever you're watching from. No, thank you. Ha! I will leave the children to fight among themselves. But anyways, have a great rest of your day, evening, night, whatever time it is where you are. Join us again next week, Monday at 8 p.m, or just before actually is when I start this, to give a quick rundown of proceedings. Until then, thank you very much for watching. Have a wonderful day. And until next time, I'll see you soon. Goodbye.